Welcome to Black Smoke Barbecue. We are a collaborative group that focuses on different aspects of barbecue from pitmasters from all across North America. Barbecue is a culture, and we discuss topics, ideas, and the methods of it on the Black Smoke Barbecue podcast. Our mission is to spotlight those lesser-known content creators in backyard barbecue, catering, food truck operations, as well as the African-American experience in modern-day barbecue. Sit back, relax, listen, and enjoy the show.
All right, everybody, we are live. Welcome back to the Black Smoke Barbecue podcast, where barbecue is not just the code we live by, it's the culture we embody. Everybody, do us a favor, y'all. Make sure you subscribe to the Black Smoke Barbecue podcast everywhere and anywhere, where there's YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, any place that you can find anybody, we're likely to be there. Hit all those buttons, y'all. Subscribe, like, share, donate, whatever buttons they got, we want you to smash them, because all that stuff really helps us out, y'all. But look, we are here with the fellas today. We got a couple topics we're going to talk about, but first we got to check in with everybody, make sure everybody's still breathing, above ground, doing everything they're supposed to do. We're going to start with our editor-in-chief, Charlie from Charlie Maverick Barbecue. Charlie, what's going on, bro?
Hey, B, what's going on, man? You know, I'm blessed and highly favored to be here above ground. Of course.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, man. I saw you with the teasers. You're doing the teasers with that open fire grill, man. What's the deal?
Yeah, man. Look, I had some fun on the Santa Maria, and I was doing a ribeye. So, hey, I ain't going to tell you what type of ribeye. So y'all just going to have to stay tuned. By the time this post, you might see the final video. But, hey, man, I just got that torch, and it was like, that ain't a fire. This is the fire. You know, I had to do that. I had to channel my Eddie Murphy.
I saw you with that flamethrower, man. I was a little concerned, but then I was like, okay, well, I think this brother know what he's doing, man. So,
well, I tested it out first. I didn't want to go on. Wasn't going to do it.
Smart move.
You know, that reminds me, when I did the breaking down the chicken blindfolded, a lot of family members came up to me and they really thought that I was going to maybe cut myself on camera. I'm like, I'm not going to post that, man. I'm not that transparent.
You didn't say you wouldn't cut yourself. You just said you wouldn't post it.
Right. That's right.
I understand. Next up, we got Alton from the Dog Fathers Barbecue. Al, what's good, bro?
Hey, man. Hey, hold up. Did we say cut up a chicken blindfolded?
That's what he did. That's what he did.
I wouldn't. I can't. You a better man than me, bro.
Hey, I don't know what I was thinking. I'm glad it made it.
Hey, but man, I'm here. B. What's up, brother?
Man, look, I'm chilling, man. You know, it was hair day. My hair had an appointment. I had to drive my hair to its appointment this morning, man. And so, you know, that usually takes a good bit of my time during the day. But, you know, man.
You was just along for the ride, huh?
That's it. I was just chauffeuring my hair around, you know.
Man, I hear that.
It's once a week. It's not too bad.
I see it glistening.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
So modest, bro. I love that about you.
Not a hair out of place. Do you see it? That bastard flickering. Hey, it's flickering like them sirens in Charlie's background. You see that? I think the police is outside, Charlie.
They're looking for me.
You see your Patriot signs? Look at your Patriot posters back there, man.
Yeah, man. They're going off. Too bad the teammate, but you
know. Man. Hey, that's a good conversation right there.
We'll get into it. What you been pulling off them pits, man?
Man, I've been having them, them barnyard pimps. I had to put them on the drum yesterday and let them strut.
Them jokers was strutting a little bit.
Man, I tell you what, brother, the color that came out on these chickens. Oh my goodness.
Which pit we talking?
We used the pit barrel, the Pit Boss Championship barrel. So that one, I did some content for that one, and that one actually is going to be coming out on the Pit Boss Grills YouTube channel on the Backyard Bosses playlist. So that's what we got on there yesterday, man. I'll tell you what, boy.
Well, I believe it. That cooker is quickly becoming my favorite pit to use.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. It's a lot of fun.
so
I mean,
much you
direct
can do
heat
with it.
cooking, chicken and smelling that fat hitting them coals. And I mean, it's just a whole dimension of flavor, man. It's just, you can't beat it. You can't beat it.
Did you hang them or did you go on the
Oh,
racks?
I got them lynched. I had them hanging down there in that fire, bro. Hey, I got it in.
My man. That's what I'm talking about. And then last, certainly not least, we have our resident poet, T from T-Dub Barbecue. T, tell us something good, man.
What's happening, man? I can't call it. The Eagles are still looking bad.
I was going to say, you surviving your Eagles over there, man.
If you're an Eagles fan, you already know what time it is, man. This one, you're a dedicated fan. I mean, the highs and the lows, starting off with lows. Hopefully after the bye, things get a little better. But other than that, man, everything's lovely.
I understand, bro. I'm sorry that your team is not doing as well as you'd like it to, but I got to tell you, I have no sympathy. I'm going to tell you why. I am a lifelong Bears fan. I'm not changing.
Wow.
The Texans are my local team because I live here in Texas now, but my ace, my number one is always going to be Chicago Bears. And so
Go Bears.
I don't even think we need to say anything else about that.
Yeah.
But
you kind of feel where I'm coming from then.
Oh, yeah. I do. But hey, it's worse because y'all didn't have Jesus descend and come down to y'all's team the way we did. And he's yet to walk on water. You understand? Hell, he can't stay on his feet. But that's neither here nor there. That's not the bad part. The bad part is my baseball team is the Chicago White Sox.
Oh, mine too, brother. Mine too.
Ooh. Long time.
Yeah.
Ooh. Go ahead and put that bag on, bro.
Yeah.
Don't put it over here. Go ahead.
Frank Thomas.
There ain't enough bags on planet Earth.
It was 121? 22?
122 losses.
Lord. I mean, shouldn't y'all... Okay.
Hold
on.
No, you know what they should do? I'm going to tell you what they should do. They should send everybody down to AAA.
I was just going to say, if you got 122 losses, shouldn't you be like declassified as a MLB and maybe get dropped down?
Yeah. I think so.
Whole organizations.
You know what? They should do it the way they do soccer over in Europe. Those teams, they have local small teams. They have different tiers. And depending on your record, and it's aggregate over a certain number of years, and then you don't just stay in the Champions League. You have to earn it. And then if you have X amount of losses for so long, then you get bumped down to the tier beneath. And if you keep losing, you keep falling. Or if you keep winning, you keep climbing. And if you want to stay in that Champions League, you're going to have to perform like a champion. And that's the way I think the professional sports here in the States should do. Because I think the Carolina Panthers and the Chicago White Sox, and there's a handful of other teams that should not be considered major league teams. Sorry.
It'll make you play harder, I can tell you that.
It sure would.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what? It's no different than what baseball was doing with the All-Star game. When they put that rule in where whoever wins the All-Star game, their league gets home field advantage. Their skin in the game. I think they should do that with the NBA too. If Eastern Conference wins in the All-Star game, they get home court advantage.
Yeah, make them play.
Make them play.
Yeah.
Make them play.
I'm not forgetting in their pockets.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that too. I'm not. So I'm gonna tell you like this. I don't think they should be penalized from their contracts, but I think there should be a much larger pool of performance bonuses when it comes to playoffs, championships, things like that. Like it should be a high incentive to reach those. That's just my opinion.
It's kind of like that in-season tournament they did last year.
Yeah.
With the Lakers, happening to pull that one out.
Oh yeah, they got paid too.
And they wanted to, they wanted to get that money because the younger players didn't have the contracts like LeBron or AD, and they played hard. I would even venture to say they played harder in the in-season tournament than they did.
Seemed like it to me.
Towards the end of the playoffs.
Because Did they have a sponsor for that in-season tournament?
Man, I don't even remember.
Somewhere in
Vegas,
I think Vegas, something in Vegas sponsored.
Well, they played it in Vegas, I thought.
Yeah,
like the championship rounds or whatever it was.
But they could get corporate sponsors to pay for those bonuses for those in-season tournaments or those performance incentives in the playoffs. They could monetize that stuff with sponsors.
I'm sure they did.
Easily, man.
I'm sure they did. I just don't remember right off.
Yeah.
It was weird to me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know, just the way that it actually turned out to be pretty cool.
I thought
but it was, and I liked the way they did the court, so you knew that it was an in-season tournament game.
Yeah.
You know, versus a regular game or whatever. So I thought that was pretty interesting and pretty cool the way they did that.
Absolutely. Hey, man, you can't tell me they can't muster up Pepsi Cola in-season tournament or
I'm sure.
Verizon. It's like somebody would pay to sponsor that.
YouTube
man.
TV. Hey, you give them all the money now.
Hey, we can air the games on my channel if y'all want to. I'm all for it. Come on.
Hey, man, look, y'all keep me out them pirate sites, man. Y'all leave me out. But again, back to my White Sox. So I nominate the.
But are they white, really?
No, they're black. Everything is black. They haven't worn White Sox in 100 years. Everything's been black.
Make them go to the games on buses, old yellow buses.
Be like Major League. Remember when they had them on that DC-3?
Hey, everybody got to pitch in on the gas too?
Yeah. Man, look, they should let my home team, the Gary South Shore Railcats, go play at guaranteed rate field.
Oh man,
I'm calling it Comiskey Park, but yeah, let the Railcats go over there and play. Railcats have been good for years. That's our minor league team there in Gary, Indiana. If you're ever in Gary, Indiana, and you want to take in a baseball game, check out the Gary South Shore Railcats. It's a beautiful park. Not a bad seat nowhere in the stadium. They have good food, great beer. It's a good time, man. You can get in there for about $10. Yeah, yourself a really good time. So that's my rant for Chicago sports.
Well, man, I didn't know we was gonna, touch on them feelings and all that. So
I'm over it, bro. Let's talk barbecue.
Yeah.
Hey, before we get on to that, man, we got to pour a little something out for Mr. John Amos, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, man.
For sure.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
We also lost Dikembe Mutombo, man.
Dikembe Mutombo, yes, sir.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a good dude, man. He was really, really good for his people and to his people.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He was. A lot of people don't know all the stuff he did back home where he's from.
Oh man, he did a lot.
Yeah.
He did a lot. That's
Yes,
a huge loss, man. Huge loss.
Yeah, he was young too, man.
And it was
very young.
cancer, man. Cancer again. And I just want to make sure I mention, this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Absolutely.
And ladies, go get checked. Fellas, if you got daughters, wives, aunts, grandmothers, mothers, get them checked, man.
And
Get
fellas,
everybody taken care of.
and fellas, check yourselves too.
Yeah.
Men get breast cancer,
Breast cancer, yes.
Yeah.
at a rate that would surprise most men.
Yeah. Richard Roundtree had breast
Yes,
cancer.
sir.
Yeah.
Shaft himself. Yes, indeed. He sure did have breast cancer. So, but yeah, definitely check on the ladies, y'all. But take care of yourself, fellas, because that stuff is real, man.
Absolutely.
And now that we're a few minutes in, fuck cancer. That's all I got to say.
I agree.
Yeah. Yes.
I definitely agree. It's touched our household, so I definitely agree.
Yeah, and mine as
mine
well,
too.
brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But now that we done got that out of the way, we can
Top barbecue.
let's get on to something a little. Let's lift the show up now that we done got it all down in the dumpsters with the White Sox and cancer.
Oh God.
That's two depressing subjects there, the White Sox and cancer.
Hey, let's talk about this Santa Maria here, man, that Charlie's been cooking on. I used to have a Santa Maria. I definitely miss cooking on that thing, but talk to us, Charlie. What did you put on there, man, and how did you regulate it? How did you get that fire management down, man?
Man, so I hit it with a torch, a nice hot torch to heat up them coals, and I like to get the coals real hot. I can't be bothered by waiting for other means of heating up the coals. I have to blast it real hot. So, so what I've seen a lot of people do is they either use the coals or they burn down some wood and they just use that. But what I found works best for me, because I'm like really meticulous with where I place the food and how the temperatures go, I use large wood chunks on top of the hot coals that kind of, place the heat in spots where I want. And I kind of rotate the meat. And as the fire burns, I find the cooler spots and the hotter spots, and it just works. If I'm going to do a reverse sear, I kind of want it to, not be where the direct flame is kind of coming up, where I put a fresh new, log or a piece of large chunk. So I just play around with it. I watch Alfregoni. Shout out to Alfregoni. And he gives a lot of education on how to do a lot of the live fire cooking, and really appreciate that education part, because I didn't know I was doing a lot of that just by being really meticulous. But you have to control the fire, not let it control you, is what I really believe in.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Al. Super, super cool guy, man. And like you said, Charlie, very informative. But yeah, to your point with the live fire, yeah, you definitely have to control the fire. Live fire cooking is not a hands-off, set it and forget it, walk away from it type of cook.
Nope.
No, it requires your full attention, and yeah, you need to move coals around. Sometimes you got to go back and forth, add things, take things away. Like, yeah, it is an exercise in management and fire management at its best.
I don't think it's that difficult, though. It's not I don't think it's a learning curve, because it's one of the oldest methods of cooking. So I feel like it's kind of innate in us to kind of learn how to do that really quickly and pick different techniques up. But you just gotta control the fire. Don't let it get away. Don't go sit on the couch.
No,
do other stuff.
And it's all about really just employing your common sense. If it's too hot, move it.
Right.
Yeah.
If you
got move the food or move the coals, one or the other.
Yeah.
You got two ways to do it, man.
You absolutely do. And I think that a lot of people, man, where I think they make mistakes when they're grilling and using live fire is not understanding that you need multiple zones.
Right.
You can't have just one blaring hot heat all the way across.
No.
Where you have no safety spot to go to when your meat's getting burned.
No,
right.
You're setting yourself up for a lot of disappointment if you do that.
Absolutely. But Charlie, I kind of do the same thing as far as whenever I'm starting up with my live fires is, most of the time I actually will start with, tumbleweed. If I don't have tumbleweeds on hand, I will do the paper towel method with oil, some sort of cooking oil, canola oil, whatever.
Yeah.
And do that with lump charcoal, and then add wood splits on top of it. And then after I get it going, that initial, amount of lump charcoal, that's typically all I use. After that, I'm just putting wood splits on.
Yep.
And then it's playing the game of understanding how long it's going to take these wood splits to burn down to produce coals. Because again, whether you're doing live fire or whether you are in a smoker, offset smoker, whatever it may be, again, coals give you heat, wood gives you flavor.
Correct.
Amen.
So when you first put the wood on there and you got a flame going, I mean, yeah, of course, flame is hot. I understand that, but that's not really your cooking part of it. When you're dealing with, say, an offset cooker, you get the wood to burn down and produce the coals, and that's going to give you that radiant heat that's going to keep your cook going. And it's kind of the same thing when you're dealing with the live fire aspect of it, because you've got coals burned down that you're trying to maintain, and you keep putting that wood, keep feeding it wood so it can keep burning and bringing coals, to the party, basically.
Yep.
So
T, you got a little Acorn Junior, and you got your Weber kettle as well. That's mostly what you do your live fire stuff with, right?
Yeah, and I got like a small barrel, and I got like a larger, not a vertical barrel, like the old school barrel.
Oh, okay.
I don't really shoot content with those, but I use those as well. Thinking about getting a something that's more open. I mean, watching you guys' video and stuff. Like I was one of the kids who always like playing in the fire and stuff, man. Grandma out there burning trash and stuff, and just always throwing stuff at it. And then I've always been
everybody's
around.
grandmama burn trash? Is that a thing?
I think so.
I think so. Yeah. Yes, I was always fascinated with live fire, and as far as the opportunity cooking on, one of them old school like grills that didn't really have a top. That's been only my experience with cooking, like with live fire or whatever. But I don't have a live fire grill. I'm looking to get one though.
Now, those are really a challenge because of what you said. The fact that they're closed up, like you have to get that fire right, like one time. And if you don't, you're going to be fighting until dinner is served because trying to lift up that grate with food on it or take all the food out to then lift the grate to either add or move stuff around. Like, you better know what you're doing if you're rocking one of those, half barrel type of grills. Because, dude, like once you got it set, you better be able to live with it.
So T, you talking about, trying to get into something that's a little open fire. One thing I will share with y'all, my sponsors over there, Pit Boss, I had a meeting with them this week and we got to talking about some different brands that are under the umbrella that Pit Boss is under. And we got to talking about Oklahoma Joe's. And I sent you guys the link here so y'all can actually check it out. But Oklahoma Joe's now has a Firecraft 29-inch grill that is basically like a half barrel on its side with, shelves on the side. And it's got rods on both ends that has a cooking rack attached to each rod that you can move up and down so that you can actually do, live fire cooking too. And it's something that's not super expensive because a lot of these live fire pieces can be very, very pricey. But this is definitely a good entry level open fire cooker for somebody that wants to get into live fire cooking. It's only a few $100s.
Oh yeah, that's
that
nice.
You can get into. And so, man, that might be something that might be up a beginner's alley, man, of getting into playing with live fire cooking.
And what's the name of that thing again, bro?
It's called the Oklahoma Joe's Firecraft.
Craft.
I like this.
So I haven't seen one in person yet. I haven't gone to go to Lowe's and go check them out. But I actually, I may actually get one just to have here on the boulevard and do some content on it, just for people that are maybe new to getting into something like this. So I may go pick one of these up and put it back here. So
that looks nice.
Yeah.
It's a cool little grill, man, to get started with.
Another excuse to go to Lowe's.
Yeah, man.
We'll leave a link for that in the description for sure. Y'all check that out.
Yeah, I'm looking at that thing now.
Yeah.
Dude, that's actually pretty doggone cool.
It is. It really is. And like I said, it's not something that's super expensive.
And they're under same umbrella as Pit Boss?
Right.
Okay.
I believe Oklahoma Joe's Charbroiler. I think Charbroiler. Charbroil. I'm sorry. Yes, Charbroil. Mm-hmm. I know those two in particular. I remember that are under there. So, because I don't know if you guys remember that, but Pit Boss got bought out over the last year by another company. I can't remember the name of the company right now. That's bad. And I work with them.
All right. Hey. I'm looking at this thing. The only thing I wish, so they have like those two little circular grills on those rods.
Right.
I wish they had like a full rectangular grill that went on those rods and you could move it up and down like a Santa Maria. That would be cool. And
that could be something that they could easily do, maybe an attachment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like
you never know.
But overall,
I haven't really looked into this thing too much to see what all, is involved in it. But it just looks pretty cool. I've seen some of these, like even one of the pictures that actually has a heat shield that goes around it. So you can actually protect it from the wind and all too. So just not too bad, man.
I'm not mad at it, man. Like I say, I agree with you. I think that's a really good place to start for folks to get into live fire.
Absolutely.
Because the thing about that, you can start high and come down low. Mm-hmm. It's not as fancy as, say, like a Santa Maria or a Birch Barrel or something like that, but
it's the same concept, though.
Same concept.
That's how you get the job done. Yeah.
And you can get it. You can get into it for a very reasonable price. I'm looking at some prices here that are like beyond reasonable. I never say prices because they always change
all the time,
and videos last forever. But
you can always say at the time of this recording,
But that's pretty cool, Al.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I thought it was pretty interesting.
Yeah,
we had that talk the other day, and I know that a lot of people don't know about it yet. You know, so it may be one of those. Like I said, I may go ahead and pick one of these up just to do some content on and introduce it to more people that may be new to live fire cooking. I will say this though: if you're looking at the Lowe's site, you see some of these pictures. I see one in particular where they got the flame going pretty good there, and it looks like they have a couple of fish on there and some sausage, and I don't know if that's some broccoli or whatever, but that's too much fire for that right there. Now the fish ain't supposed to be black like that, so.
I got the broccolini and some sausage legs.
Man.
Yeah, I just zoomed into that.
And I saw them like, that's not really good fire management right there.
Yeah. Those onions look good, though. The onions and the kebabs up there look good.
But, but they're enough away from the fire like they should be.
Yeah. They want them fish got away from them.
The that broccolini ain't gonna do so well with them flames either.
No. Burn out. They're gonna be looking like that fish in short order.
Yeah, man. But that's why they need some content creators to get out there and start cooking on these things to show people how it works.
That's right.
I know a guy.
Yeah, hey, if you know a guy, I know a guy that knows a guy.
So you talk about fire management. I think one of the key things is your fuel, and like you were saying earlier, Al, I will typically start off with lump charcoal, and if I'm going to do wood splits or wood chunks or something to burn down, then I'll throw those on. But sometimes I run straight charcoal. If I did a cook today, and I tried a new brand of lump charcoal called Harder Charcoal, and I know that's what you use, Al.
Yeah, man, they're a good company. I work with them.
Dude, I ordered a bag. I've had that bag in my garage. Man, it's been a couple months, probably 3 or 4 months. And opened it up for the first time today, man. And as soon as I open it, this big old hunk, man. Charcoal, like the size of my head. I was like, okay. I'm like, and I know enough about lump charcoal. The big stuff settles to the bottom of the bag.
Yeah.
You know, and you all end up with all these fine pieces. And it's like, okay, I'm sorry, the little stuff settles to the bottom. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, okay, let me dig down a little bit, man. But no, bro, it was big old honking pieces through that entire bag. And normally I get this big, like a ice scoop, like a big old ice scoop that I use because I'll just shovel out lump charcoal instead of digging my hands in there. No, bro, I'm hand pulling these big old hunks out to put into my little brazier to burn down. Your fuel is essential. I am not a fan of briquettes. I will use briquettes for heat for things other than cooking. Because a lot of times my neighbors will give me briquettes, things like that. I don't buy briquettes because in my experience, briquettes, once you get them going, they just run away. Like they're like a runaway train. They're getting hot, and hotter, and then they die. It's like somebody throws a switch. You know, I don't know if y'all feel the same way, but to me, briquettes are on and then they're off. Like there's not a gradual fall in temperature. It's like it's slowing down and then it's just off a cliff.
Yeah, I got.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I prefer.
And you know why, right?
Fast. Yeah. Just straight up grilling. Yeah.
So, because a lot of people, you know, they'll try to use charcoal briquettes for live fire cooking, and and the reason why I would say no is because I would go back to what I said before. Coals gives you heat, right?
Yep.
When you're using briquettes, that's like all that sawdust and whatever pressed together and glued together or whatever to form these briquettes. Once you get to its hottest potential on that briquette, basically it breaks down and disintegrates.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And so, you know, you never really get coals. You just get a good hot,
it's just a heat source.
Yeah. And it's great for, you know, its purpose. if you're grilling, some chicken or grilling steaks
burgers,
or,
dogs, steaks, something like that.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not going to knock briquettes. I've used briquettes for a long time. I've even got some of the harder charcoal briquettes back here as well.
I grew up on briquettes, but I also grew up on hot and fast barbecue.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if you're doing a cook beyond, half hour or so, I definitely recommend that you do some lump charcoal or burn down wood to make coals, because briquettes is really just not suited for that. And again, I think the unpredictability of briquettes makes it ill suited for true live fire cooking.
Right.
That's just my take on it.
And I wanted to add in there, you were talking about the harder charcoal with the lump and how you had the good size charcoal.
Oh yeah.
Man, it's that quebracho. So we're talking that same wood it's from Argentina. And so the harder charcoal company, the family is actually a German family that relocated to Paraguay. And so they actually get their wood, they get it from Argentina.
Okay.
And so now they have this harder charcoal. And like I said, it's the same wood you're going to find with, some of the big premium brand names that you hear of that you're familiar with. Everybody's familiar with Fogo.
Yep.
And things like that. Well, harder charcoal, I've got, bag of Fogo, and I've got bags of harder charcoal. And I tell you what, dude, they're like one and the same to me. It's that good, hard wood.
Dude, I tell you, I was impressed, man. I knew it was going to be good by the fact that it actually took a decent amount of time longer to get those coals going.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was like, oh, this stuff is good and hard. I'm like, this is going to burn like a,
Yeah. Like, I love that stuff, man.
Like, this is about to run, because a lot of times you'll get really commercial lump charcoal. And to be honest with you, I haven't come across any bad lump. But some of the more commercial names that we're used to, that stuff, it lights up quickly. But you're not getting as long of a burn and not as hot.
Right.
No. And it doesn't have this. I've noticed it doesn't have all that popping and crackling and disintegrating and blowing up.
I made that same remark. I made that same remark in the video. Like, it's not spalling and farting and hissing and popping. Like, it was just like the cleanest, smoothest burn. I was impressed, man. I really was.
Absolutely. So if you guys haven't checked out harder charcoal, you probably should. I'm
gonna check that out.
I'm gonna tell you like this. It's probably who I'm gonna have to be rocking with, dog, because it was that good.
Well, you know what?
It was that good.
I happen to know some people.
We about to get in touch with them people, man.
Hey, I know a guy, okay?
I need that charcoal, bro.
So we could do this the easy way, or we could do this the hard way.
You're talking to my guy all wrong.
Oh, man. But yeah, absolutely. Fire management, man, is vital to being able to churn out that good food, especially when you get them good, expensive steaks on, or if you decide you want to go with the Argentinian cooking and you want to go long, low and slow. You can absolutely do low and slow with open fire cooking.
Oh yeah.
And I tell you what, man, I think the Argentinians, they dude, they own it. I love the fact that they cook with salt. You know what I mean? Salt, not paprika and sugar and cumin and all these other flavors. They literally slap some salt on it, put some heat on it. It's time to eat. And you get to, and the reason I like that is because, with me also wanting to pay attention to my blood sugar levels. I don't want to be adding a bunch of sugar to whatever I'm eating, but you get to taste good, clean meat.
Mm-hmm.
When you, one of the things that I really love, and I know, Brandon, you probably going to love this because you're Chicago, and that's those rib tips.
Oh, yes.
You get those rib tips on that grill, man, and over those direct coals, and you slow cook them, and they just break down. And I'm telling you, they get super tender, just like if you were to smoke them in an offset and wrap them in foil and that whole nine. You cook them low and slow over the coals like that, man. It breaks down. And do not cut or take any membrane off. I'm telling you, that membrane cooks up. I like chewing and eating on it. That's a good source of collagen, and is for me flavorful. So I think the Argentinians were on it, man, when they got that style of cooking that they do.
Bro, look, let me tell you something. Tips over live fire. Growing up, that's barbecue.
Yeah,
where I come from. Ribs sometimes, but it was probably good 75-80% of the time. It's tips.
Yeah.
And Chicago, look, tips, fries, and sauce.
Yep.
That's barbecue. And Chicago has changed quite a lot over the years, and folks up there really are getting into smoking and things like that. But there's still a bunch of traditional Chicago-style barbecue joints. Matter of fact, I did a behind the scenes at one Big Daddy's Barbecue there in Gary, and I should be putting that video out pretty soon. Shout out Big Daddy, my man Gordon Biffle. He is very successful, small chain of restaurants up there, man. And just seeing his operation, he has kind of gotten to a point where he's doing like a hybrid of smoking, but he has to finish that stuff on those barrel pits over coals because people want that flavor. They want that flavor of that stuff hitting those coals, that smoke coming back up and that little bit of char from being over that open fire. Like you have to have that. Like it's essential in Chicago barbecue, man. And like I said, they got a lot of other things going on up there, but I don't think that is going anywhere, bro. And you're dead on. Like you're not taking anything off. It's just, you talk about fire management, bro, to be able to cook that volume of tips over direct heat and
for that long
and manage that and keep that from running away. Those are some pit masters there, bro.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What did Rashid say, man, when he was on the Netflix show that first season? He said some of these these apparatus we're cooking on, he said I may not have ever cooked on it, but it's fire. I know how to manage fire, so I know I can work it out.
Oh, yeah.
Preach. That's right. Shout out to Rashid.
Yeah.
Man, you know what, fellas? We've been going at it for a minute. I think we better go pay some bills for a little bit, then we can come back and get back into it. What do y'all say?
Yeah. Let's do that.
Let's do it. Let's pay some bills. Look, y'all, we have some great sponsors. Y'all check these folks out. Buy some of their products. All that stuff really helps us out. Stop being cheap, damn it. Roll the commercial.
A revolutionary new grill brush is here, designed to eliminate the dangers associated with traditional wire bristle brushes. Meet the Boyer brush, which will make cleaning fast, easy, and safe. The rust-proof stainless steel spring bristles are designed to withstand failure and last for many years. The Boyer brush is crafted with a heavy-duty, all-metal design that is dishwasher safe. Cleaning your grill with the Boyer brush, while hot, will provide effective cleaning without bristle loss danger. With a long handle for two-handed pressure that provides rapid cleaning that's easy and safe, it's time to say goodbye to the dangers of traditional grill brushes and hello to the last grill brush you will ever buy. Get yours now at BoyerBrush.com.
We like you to meet Sweet Charlene, the barbecue seasoning created from family bonds that is low in sodium but high in flavor. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner or a seasoned pitmaster. Level up your barbecue game with this dry rub that has amazing taste and great color. Go to EddieWrightBarbecue.com right now and order your choice between the 6-ounce shaker bottle, the 16-ounce bag, or my favorite, the 32-ounce bag, and start rubbing your beef, pork, and poultry the right way.
All right, y'all, and we're back. And I meant what I said. Y'all go buy some of these products, damn it. Those folks really support us and help us out. But no, seriously, we do appreciate y'all supporting our sponsors. All that stuff really helps us out. Now, we're talking fire management. Let's get into something taboo here, man. Let's talk about technology-assisted fire management. People don't like to talk about it. Everybody wants to be a purist and and a master of fire and all that stuff. But the world has changed, man, and technology is our friend. I want to know y'all's take on the use of technology in fire management. T, I'll start with you.
With any technology, I think that matter of fact, I had a conversation about this on my podcast. Like, technology is supposed to be a tool to assist and not a replacement. I think as long as you're still learning the fundamentals and honing in on those fundamentals is fine. But when you get too dependent on technology, what happens when the technology fails? If you don't hone in on those practical skills, I think it's, like I said, some people are too dependent on it, but don't be afraid that, if you have one of those pellet grills or whatever, to just light up some charcoal, get some lump charcoal or whatever, and just go back to the basics and see if you still got it. We talked about this before, like checking temperatures and stuff. I don't know about you all, but growing up, we didn't use temperature gauges. We just pretty much knew when it was done. We knew how to check it out. But now people who are just not getting into things, they're buying the temperature gauges and they're not really honing in on kind of feeling and knowing when the food is done. So I would just say, if you have it, use it as a tool, but not not as a replacement. Still honing those natural skills, like testing to see if things are too hot. Fire management is very big because, like I said, what if you're in the middle of a cook and that stuff dies out? While you're in the middle of a cook, like a long cook, what are you going to do then? You got to learn how to pivot.
I agree. Well said. What say you, Charlie?
I would echo the same thing. Use it as an extension of your knowledge of how to gauge when certain points in the cook you need to do something. So consistency is what I try to aim for. So I do use a temperature probe a lot, but I also try to figure out through touch and feel and time where I need to actually just pay attention. So I don't use like temperature probes on everything, but if I'm trying to hone in on a duck, I'm trying to make sure I didn't waste money on that duck.
Right.
On ribs, man, I ain't using no temperature probe on no ribs, man. You don't got to do that. Pork butt, no, man, you ain't got to do that. Brisket, I mean, if you really don't want to mess up, sure, but no, don't make that a standard, But again, it's echoing what T said. You use it as a tool, but not a replacement. That's my stance.
I feel that. Al, what say you, bro?
Man, I'm right there on the same lines. I know there's more out there than just temperature probes and all that, but I caught a lot of flack, man, back when I first started, on the YouTube channel, and I was one of those guys that I promoted cooking by feel, and I got a lot of people that would hit me up, and the number one question was, what was my finishing temp for X meat? What was the finishing temperature? I don't know. I don't check that because I don't care. And I'm not saying that to be an ass. I'm saying that because, honestly speaking, I really don't care because I want it to be tender.
You want the final result. You're not worried about.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of people, they get stuck on, you'll have different, and understand that there's so many different cooking methods that people will employ. And that this is the way this person learned. This is the way that person learned. So neither one of them are going to be wrong. Like I've always said, there's no rules in barbecue. You cook the way you cook, right? But what happens is you have people that listen to, this person or that person that says, oh, you have to cook your brisket to this temperature. And then you have to pull it off and wrap it up in towels and put it in the cooler and let it sit for the next 12 hours. And I'm like, you know what? That's cool. If you want it to be mush, that's up to you. If that's the way you like it, it's kind of like, with ribs. If you want ribs that fall off the bone, you wrap it up and you let it go forever. And it's it's overcooked, but if that's the way you like it, that's the way you like it. I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong. It's just not the way I prefer to do it. Right. But where I'm getting at with this was I would always say that, beef, think about it. You eat a steak. If you like a rare steak, you're eating a steak. It's like 120, 125 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't going to get sick. Right. So we're talking brisket now. I'm sorry, but brisket and ribeye come from the same animal. It's the same meat, right? So why do I care if I know? Because people are checking temperatures because they don't want to get sick, right?
Right.
If we already established that we can eat meat at 125 degrees, Why do we care about 200 degrees or 203 degrees or 210 degrees? Because if you pull it off at 203 degrees and that brisket is still tough, now you're going to be wondering, well, hold up. They told me to pull it off at 203 degrees and I did that exactly. Why? What did I do wrong? The only thing you did wrong is you didn't let it finish. Every animal is different. Every brisket is different. So you've got to give it enough time to get those connective tissues to break down to become tender. So again, if I pick up this brisket and I'm putting my fingers underneath that brisket and I can feel the jiggle and I can feel it kind of bend the way that I know it needs to bend, I know it's tender. I can then take a toothpick or a temperature probe or whatever and slide it into this meat and feel that it's super tender. I don't care what the number is. I really don't. I don't even look at the numbers. I just feel how it is. Okay, if it feels tender to me, then I know we got a good brisket. And the same thing with ribs. You pick up your ribs. If they got that good bend to them and they kind of floppy, you know you broke down those connective tissues and they're ready to go. So I've had people ask me about temperatures on ribs. Man, I've never, ever in my life checked temperatures on ribs.
Not once. But you know what, Al? I think all that goes back to what T was saying too, man.
Yep.
People want this formula that it's X temperature for X hours with a finishing temp of X.
Yep.
And there are
the shortcut.
Yeah, there are too many factors at play. You know, this isn't baking a cake, because even baking a cake, you're never going to get two cakes to come out the same.
Right.
Dude, that's harder. To me, that's harder than barbecue.
Right. It is. I hate bacon.
Yes, it is.
I hate bacon. But what, you know, the root of all of that is failure, or fear of failure.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's where you learn the most.
Yeah,
and that's where you're going to learn. You know, and for those who are listening, and there may be some out there who want that quote unquote formula, there isn't one. And you're going to have to cook, and you're going to have to learn. And like everyone has been saying here, you're going to have to get a feel for what you're doing. That is the only way to master that stuff. Now, my stance on the whole technology thing, you definitely need to master all of these qualities that are going to allow you to produce great barbecue. Now, once you master that, this is my opinion, let that technology roll, baby. Look, let me tell you something. So when I went to culinary school, we did everything by hand.
So you walked uphill in the snow.
I did. And that's true. I had to walk up the bridge in East Chicago, Indiana on an icy, snowy day. So I was going uphill, and I had to get to my college there. So yes, I literally walked uphill through the snow to get to culinary school. So yes, you are correct. But no, we had to do everything by hand. We didn't use mixers. We didn't use food processors. We didn't use any type of machines. Everything was knives, whisks, things like that. The whole point was, when you're working in these kitchens, you have all of this commercial equipment. You have the best of the best. But like T said, what happens when that stuff breaks down?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to know how to pivot, and you have to know and be confident in your skills that if you don't have a food processor, you don't have a mixer, well, you know what? I beat this stuff by hand 1,000,000 times. I know what to do. I know what it feels like when it's ready. You need all of that training. It is training, and you're training yourself. But once you have those things mastered, I am not one who's going to say, oh, don't use these machines or technology. People who want to shit on technology, they're hypocrites. And I will stand on it. Because guess what? Y'all all lit a fire with a lighter or a match. Nobody rubbed your sticks together to start a fire. You bought your meat from the grocery store. You didn't go hunt it. You didn't harvest it. You drove to get it. You didn't dig a pit in the ground. You got some pit from a factory with all these machines that put it all together. So trust me, you are using tons and tons of technology,
Mm-hmm.
whether you want to admit it or not. And when it comes to technology and fire management, I have several tools, whether it's pits or one of my favorite things to use, y'all, is this item called the Perfect Draft. And it is a little blower that attaches to my offset. I have a very cheap offset, and it runs like a cheap offset, i.e. terrible, because it's
transparency.
Yeah, I mean, the metal is very thin, so it's not insulated in any way, and it just bleeds heat. But what the Perfect Draft does is a blower that attaches to the inlet of my firebox. And there's a temperature probe that attaches to that, and that sits inside the cooking chamber. And so that temperature probe sends signal back to the Perfect Draft, and they work together to keep the temperatures of my cooker dead solid on whatever temperature I dial in. And as long as I have enough fuel in there to maintain that temperature, my shit is like that, flatline. And I think it's one of the greatest inventions in barbecue that they've come up with. Most people have never heard of it. I love that thing. Because here, look, most of us aren't going to be like a certain somebody that we're not going to name with, some fancy custom offset cooker. Most of us got a $300 offset. And that's just the fact, y'all. Most people went and got their joint from Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever, put it together with some screws and nuts. Okay, this thing ain't holding heat for anybody. But if I can spend a couple $100 more and employ technology that's going to make that thing operate the way his super fancy deluxe offset operates. And that's not a shot, bro. I wish I had one. It just ain't in the numbers for me because I can't justify that purchase. But if I can even the playing field by employing that technology, and the thing is battery powered. I've yet to do a cook where I wore the battery out. I can do a brisket on that thing and the battery will run the whole time. It's just power and a fan, and the fan is just variable speed. And again, it uses a temperature probe and logic to do what it needs to do. So you're going to tell me that that's cheating or that ain't barbecue or whatever? Bring all your arrows and daggers on over to me. I'll take them. Because if I can load up my firebox with the appropriate amount of charcoal and wood and let that thing operate like a big, high-dollar, fancy offset smoker, I'm going to get beautiful, clean smoke, beautiful smoke flavor, and an amazing finished product. And then you're going to tell me I'm not doing it right?
Hey, like I said, man,
I'll be wrong every time.
There's no rules, man. Yeah. You cook how you want to cook, and you use whatever devices that you got to use. But I will say this. Yeah, man, I do have a high dollar offset smoker.
I wish I had
it. But I will say this. I've been cooking in the backyard, man, for 35 years. And I went through my share, of inexpensive cookers that I had to literally lay foil in the bottom of so that my wood and stuff didn't fall out, because I done cooked out the bottom of it, and things like that. But regardless, whether, I was cooking on something inexpensive or if I'm cooking on something expensive, and this goes for everybody listening. At the end of the day, you got to know your cooker. And the only way you're going to know that cooker is to get out there and burn on it. You're going to have to, I don't know. Did you guys see the reel that I put out this week called Practice?
Yeah.
Dude. And I'm, I do that often. Yes, I will literally get back there. Gene will come back there. I'm sitting on Barbecue Boulevard, man. I'm sitting there, got the TV going, game might be on. I'm not even looking at it. I'm sitting there, got the fire door open or got the firebox door open, and I'm looking in there just watching the wood burn. And she'll come out there and ask me, what are you cooking? Nothing. Well, what are you doing? I'm just watching the fire. What you watching the fire for? Because I'm trying to see how it burns. Because I literally will get back there and I will light a fire in this thing and I will do different things to see what the different results will be, you know? And one of the things that I've been playing around with and you know, years ago, man, I was watching the cooking channel, and Roger Mooking went to go visit John Lewis out in Carolina. And, you know, John Lewis, you know, many people might not know, but he's, you know, from Central Texas, barbecue history, you know, whatever. One of the things that he did that I thought was very interesting when I was watching this episode was that it was the first time I had heard of somebody actually putting their meat on an offset smoker before they even lit the pit. Right? Because you've always heard, oh, you got to get your pit up to temperature and burn clean and everything before you put the meat on and all that type of thing. Right? And so I watched him. He loaded up, I don't know how many briskets he had on this thing, but he loaded all these briskets on. And then they went back there to go light the fire. And they were using dirty smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And the thing is this. Dirty smoke can actually be your friend.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Because dirty smoke, you don't want to cook, you know, a longevity part of your cook in dirty smoke. But you blast this meat with some dirty smoke on the front end and then clean it up as you go later. And it brings it back and it basically fortifies that smoke flavor into that meat. Right.
Yep.
And so what I started doing was, okay, I'll play around with the pellet smokers, and, you know, pellet smokers will actually, you know, if you want to create more smoke, you cook at a lower temperature, you know, on the front end of the cook for a long time or whatever. And then you turn up the temperature. Well, okay, let's do this with the offset. You know, you can do it with the offset, right? Play around with it. Well, I've got an insulated firebox and all that. So, I mean, it is super efficient. So it burns less wood. How much less wood? Well, that's what you got to go figure out.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like I said, I did this reel called Practice, man, where I put a little bit of lump charcoal in there, and I got 16-inch splits, custom splits that I use that I literally cut in half to 8-inch and then split them long ways. So I had them broken down to where I can, you know, in a manageable size to where I can put this in this firebox. And basically I say that to say that these are the things that you have to do to learn your cooker and how to be able to do different things. You know, you can't say, oh, well, I can't get my offset to go down low. Yeah, you can. You just have to use less fuel. Maybe your splits are too big. Maybe you're using too much charcoal, whatever it is. Adjust your dampers down. I literally got this thing singing at 200 degrees, man. I ran it at 200 degrees, dead nuts on 200 degrees for like 7.5, 8 hours. And it was just these little split stuff. But it's practice. You have to get back there and put in the time to learn your craft and learn the tools that you're working with. And you know what? Once you get that down, hey, man, again, technology, that's just another avenue of something to help you get what you want to get done. But you actually do have the tool and the skill set to be able to do it without it.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
You know, Thyron just put a video out because that's what he does. He loads up his reverse flow.
Mm-hmm.
Then he lights his fire. And he just did a video a couple of days ago where he talked about he uses dirty smoke like a seasoning.
Yep.
He said it's another ingredient. And it's exactly what you said, man. It's just the dirty smoke that's coming through that pit through the process of the fire getting right.
Yep.
And
I think we want to add one caveat to those people that are still using lighter fluid. Don't do that.
Please don't do that.
Yeah, no lighter fluid. No lighter fluid.
No,
Look,
don't do that.
I'm gonna look y'all
That's
in the
more
eye.
than dirty smoke.
Stop using it.
I'm gonna look y'all in the eyes, people. Stop it with that damn lighter fluid. Get y'all some tumbleweeds. Get y'all some paper towel and a little cooking oil or something. Stop putting all that damn chemical all over that charcoal, man. Like, come on. It's 2024, y'all. It's about to be Christmas. Stop it.
Dude, I haven't had lighter fluid in I don't know how many years.
Especially refueling. You get those people who will refuel and then they'll hit it off with some lighter fluid while the food is on the grill.
Man.
It's
No.
like, hey.
No.
And then you get the really good ones who actually splash the meat with it on accident. It's like, come on, man.
Hey.
No, man.
That's your piece.
Exactly.
So what are we gonna say here? Because we want to talk about some more of this with barbecue content creation and all that, with our struggles and successes. But I want to wrap up this best cooking practices we're talking about. So we want to make sure we don't use lighter fluid.
Amen.
That's one.
Do not use it.
The top one.
Do not use lighter fluid.
Too much fuel. If you're
You
using a
save
bag
yourself.
of charcoal, don't use the whole bag.
That's funny because after we just said there's no rules in barbecue. Don't use lighter fluid.
There's some precautions. These are precautions.
Don't kill yourself slow.
But
these are suggestions.
But listen, rule number one before you even spark a flame to light a fire, clean that nasty ass grill. Listen, you know how many problems can be averted if you just clean out your grill? I've made videos about this. For all y'all sitting here talking about, oh, that's flavor, that's seasoning.
No, that's nasty.
Negative. That's filth. You're cooking in filth. Clean out that nasty ass grill. You know, when you
fire,
you're going to have an amazing grease fire, and it's going to always hit at the most inconvenient time possible.
When family's over and you look weak.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. It's going to happen, and when you see them grills with all this stalactites,
man,
like
looking like bat's hand.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Like, and people want to talk about, oh, it's seasoning. No, that is filth, and it's filth dripping down.
It is
all over your food. Y'all let that. It's not right.
Well, think about this, man. We've all had, our barrel pits that we've run, and then after we finish that cook on the front of the grill, you see that black stuff that's kind of run from the inside to the outside because the lid doesn't seal correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Now you put this in the pit. You got meat that you got on a dirty pit. And come on, man. I've seen quite a few YouTube videos this week, and I'm not going to name the place because I was all in until I saw the pit. I mean, they were putting out some gorgeous looking food. Oh man.
Is it here in Texas?
Oh no. This was out near East Coast Jeff, but actually in Vegas. But anyway, no, man. I mean, the place, man, the barbecue or beef ribs that they were making, man, they looked phenomenal. Everything looked fantastic. And then when I saw the pit and saw all this goop hanging down, I was like, nah, man, you can't do that. And that's like, I know a lot of people that own restaurants and they clean their pits, once a week or whatever it may be. That type of buildup was not done in a week.
No.
Yeah, you can tell.
So no, man. So clean the pit. So no lighter fluid. Clean your pit. Make sure you have multiple zones of heat if you're grilling.
Yes.
Yep.
You want a hot zone. You want a cool zone. Have some place to go to.
Yeah, like T said, don't use the whole bag of charcoal.
No. Start
with a modest fire. Oh, and speaking of bag of charcoal, don't use the actual paper from the bag.
A lot of people do.
A lot of people do, but what a lot of people don't realize is there is a plastic liner in those charcoal bags. If you ever actually rip it open, it's like 3 layers.
Mm-hmm.
There's plastic sandwiched between 2 layers of paper. And even then, that paper that it's in, that stuff is coated to keep out moisture because moisture is the enemy of charcoal. Long story short, don't use that paper from the bag to light your fire. Nasty, nasty stuff.
Oh, and one more. If you have one of those cheap grills and it actually has a grate where you're supposed to sit the charcoal on, please use that. Don't take that out because you're going to burn the bottom out.
Right.
Yes.
On and you cheap also grills, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that grate also gives you airflow for your coals. And when you take that grate out, you're cheating yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're just making it harder for you to get your fire going and to stay running because you need that gap for airflow. So absolutely, T, that grate is necessary, man.
Unless you actually really know how to manage that fire, because there's most of the places that I know that they don't use cooking or charcoal grates. But we're not talking about inexpensive cookers. We're talking about high dollar, whatever.
Yeah, no. We talking about that little box joint from Walmart that costs you $18.
The blue one and the red one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need so I'm gonna tell you, I got a story when it comes to cheap stuff. I understand we all have to start somewhere. But like T said, that stuff is there for a reason. Like somebody thought that out and it's going to help you. I used to take golf lessons and I was taking lessons. Tiger Woods.
And my
teacher, I was, I don't know, 6 or 7 lessons in, and I had come quite away from my days of just hacking away on my own. And it got to a point where she was like, hey, look, I think you just need to go out and start playing, just play all summer and then come back in the fall. We'll do a tune-up. We'll address whatever areas that you're having trouble with. She was like, okay, but now what are we going to do about this equipment? Like, I had like some Kmart clubs. And I was like, I don't think I'm good enough to invest all this money into expensive clubs. And she's like, no, you have it backwards. You're not good enough for these cheap ass clubs. She's like, you need all the help you can get. She says, so you should buy the best equipment that you can afford, buy the best balls you can afford, the best shoes, the best shirts, best golf pants. She was like, all of that stuff adds up. And so don't go eliminating items that are there and that are designed to help you, because chances are if you have an $18 grill with that little bit of grate in there, you don't know what you're doing. So you need all the help that you can get. So yeah, don't start reinventing things and you have no knowledge of what you're doing. Read the instructions, get on YouTube, find some tips and tricks. We all have to start somewhere. There's no pride and ego in it. And your pride and ego are really going to be shot if you make a nasty barbecue or if you burning it up. Like there's nothing wrong with looking for knowledge, man. So don't be shy to seek help, y'all. Even if it is just an instructional video, it can help you a lot.
And now that Brandon has broken y'all down to the lowest form you can be, I'm gonna build you up a little bit.
Make it feel bad. It made me feel bad.
Because the thing is this, if you do happen to cook on some of these lesser expensive items and, you're fighting, because of deficiencies with, being efficient cookers or whatever, if you do happen to learn how to cook on that stuff, guarantee you when you get into something that's a little bit, better built, better quality built, it's going to be a breeze.
Oh, that's for damn sure.
It's going to be a breeze.
That's for damn sure. I'm going to tell you what, again, I'm not knocking those things because I do think that you can learn a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially fire management. If you can
absolutely
have no choice.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. And if you can master that little rectangle grill from, the big box store, if you can master that thing and cook on that thing well, I'll tell you what, especially if you can cook indirect on that thing, you just might have a talent. You just might have a talent. It might be something that you should be doing because it's not easy, but it can be done.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know what, fellas? Let's make a little transition right quick because we've been almost in here with a little over an hour. Let's get into this last segment right quick so we can go ahead and wrap it up. But man, let's talk about some barbecue content, creation struggles.
Ooh,
we'll do some struggles, maybe some successes, maybe practices. But let's start with the struggles, and I'm going to volunteer one. I was actually doing a cook yesterday. I've got many struggles. But I'm gonna tell you all about the one I had yesterday. Most of you guys already know I do cooks for Pit Boss Grills, and I was doing a video yesterday where I was working on their championship barrel. It's a drum smoker, and I was doing some chicken, and I've gotten into my practice of how I do my videos and where I can actually film things. And then, when you're cooking, you got a little bit of time where you're cooking, your meat smoking, whatever it is. So I can come back into the studio and I can upload my stuff onto the computer and I can actually start doing the rough draft edit, the video or whatever. And then I can, load my camera and stuff back up and go back out and do the next part. Well, anyway, so I was doing this yesterday and I had I had a period of time where I was wanting to film some B-roll. And so I put my camera into slow motion. Started recording some B-roll, and it looked pretty crispy and I liked it, and everything. And came back in the studio and put it on the computer and was looking at it. It was like, man, that looks pretty good, whatever. Okay, now it's time to go get this chicken off the grill. Let's go do the last couple of shots or whatever. So I went back out there, set the camera up, started recording, did my whole, soliloquy of whatever at the end of this video, came back in, put it in here to go finish off the editing and realized I forgot to take the camera and put it back into 4K and left it on slow-mo.
Ooh.
All that audio. I kept wondering. I knew something was up because I was like, damn, this is taking a long time to upload to the PC. No, it was no audio whatsoever. No audio. It was just super slow motion.
Wow.
Like I started watching it and I'm like, okay, that smoke is moving pretty slow. And I thought, okay, maybe my computer is slowing down. Wait, there's no audio. Wait, why is my hand moving so slow? I went and looked at the camera. I'm like, oh, damn, I left it in slow motion. And okay, so the problem was this. I do have multiple cameras to use, and I usually use one for A-roll. I use one for B-roll, and then I got another two if I decide I want to use them. But no, I'm using the one camera to do the things that I was doing and forgot to put it back to record the shot, man. So what did I have to do? I literally had to take this chicken, put it back on the hooks.
Oh, Lord.
Take it back out there and put it back on the grill and refilm the whole segment again.
Damn.
So that's
See what he go through?
my
See what he
content
goes
creation.
through?
Yeah, man. To
Don't
make
watch that
videos
like that
for
video.
Man, I'm telling you, that deserves a like and a subscription right there.
Yeah.
Man.
Real.
For real.
Bro.
And you know what? When it's all said and done, the viewer will never know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
movies is magic, man. It's
It
all
is,
about
man.
the edit, brother.
Magic.
It is.
It is all about the edit.
Yeah. Hey, look, I feel your pain, man. I was recording today, and from the time I put on my barbecue clothes, brother, I had setback after setback after setback. I broke 2 pieces of equipment today. The sun and clouds just were not my friend today, dude. I was setting up shots 3 and 4 times, but by the time I pressed record, the clouds were doing something different. Like, dude, I just couldn't. I couldn't win. I couldn't win. And then I had my phone set up, like you said, for B-reel and wide shots, and I had my regular camera set up. And dude, they both kept overheating because, again, I would have them set up in one spot, and then clouds would move. Sun comes raining down, and it's just roasting my equipment. And then I'm sitting here recording, talking. I hear bing boom, and it's shutting off because I'm like, dude.
Oh, boy.
I literally, as I muttered my last word,
Was it a 4-letter word?
it was not. I was like, and this is how you make, the such and such. And bing, boom, that bastard cut off. I was just like, you know what? I'm done. I'm like, I have no idea what this is going to look like. I'm going to try to start editing tonight. But that one just might go in the garbage, dog, because it was just one of those, just nothing went right today. Nothing went right.
Man.
And I am just not confident that this is going to turn out well, man. So, yeah, it's a struggle sometimes, man.
It
And
really
again,
is.
Yes.
like you said,
Yes.
the viewer will never know, and they shouldn't, because it's our job to create, engaging and entertaining and hopefully informative content. But when y'all see a little 10-minute video, I don't think people realize that 10-minute video can run us like 8 hours
Or longer.
or longer.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I got a story to tell. Good Lord. T, you were with me. Man. So T and I went to the Black Barbecue Cook-Off in Fayetteville. And I just purchased this shotgun microphone. My God! I thank y'all for watching this video. But Lord, went out there, had trouble from the beginning. It was windier than we thought, and the research I did on getting this microphone said it was good outside. All y'all lied because just a slight little breeze, like. I can't hear what the people are saying. And then I think the DJ was kind of like trolling us for some reason.
Yeah.
Every time we got to the point where we were about to start an interview, I'm like, oh my God. Nothing worked out well on site that day, but man, Thank God for AI sometimes. Going back to technology, thank you.
Right.
You know, it cleaned a lot of that trash up.
Dude, because you got to have audio, man.
Yes, you do.
You know, even when you're making content, I mean, your video, sometimes you can get away with, a lot of different mistakes or what have you, as long as that audio is crispy.
Right. Roland Martin always says that good audio is 80% of a good video.
Yeah.
He's right.
If your audio is trash, no one's going to watch that. No one, dude, it's impossible to do. It's impossible to hear a bunch of bad and distracting noise and you're trying to take in visuals. I just think it's a human response. It's just like, okay, no, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, man.
I got two real quick. One, I was recording the intro to this tri-tip video that I need to finish editing, but my lapel mic died and I didn't know it. Great intro. Went to play it back, no sound at all. And so during the cook, because it's dead, I'm trying to talk loud or whatever, and I had to do some like voiceovers or whatever after the fact. But I went to re-record because I thought that was the one, because I did 2 cooks that day, the peri peri chicken. So I thought the peri peri chicken was the one that didn't have the sound, which it actually was the one that did have the sound. So I re-recorded the peri peri chicken intro and didn't need to. So I had 2 intros for the peri peri chicken because I thought I had the tri-tip intro. So I still have to do the tri-tip intro all over again. Second one.
But T, before you go to that, hey, ain't it a bitch when you gotta try to now you gotta go wash the shirt that you was wearing and put it back on, and and you try to get your hair back to the way it was. Like, people don't understand. Like, we don't go back and check it in real time because most of us you're a one-man operation, and so you don't know this stuff until you go to start editing. And so then, like you said, you don't even know which one came out right or not. So then to fix it, the efforts to fix it are enormous.
Oh, yeah.
Putting the food back on. You thought you was ready to eat. Got to put the food back on. Everybody waiting to eat. I got to put the food back on, baby. Hold on.
Bruh,
Hold on.
I had that smoked chicken salad on my brain too.
And the second one is when I did that brisket video. I had 2 cameras rolling, one vertical for the reel and the other one landscape, like right there, perfect. But they were recording before I had anything set down. So I was like, well, let me kind of save my battery or whatever. And then when I came back, I didn't hit record on the one that's in the front. So I'm slicing into this thing. And then not only that, the vertical one isn't where I started it off from. So the angle wasn't what I liked. So if you ever look at that reel, you'll see it's a lot of splicing going on in the edits to kind of make it, make up for that. But I was so pissed off. I was like, this was perfect. The cut, it's like, you can't redo that cut. That first cut, you can't redo that.
Nah.
And I thought about even like sharing a video and just talking about the trash about how bad, it went without having the actual camera in the front. But that was like the biggest like error I had so far, just not having that recording. I don't know what I did wrong. I thought it was recording. Maybe I double tapped. But when I got back and I looked and I was like, this is not recording. Oh my God. This was the perfect first slice. The juices were flowing. I was like, man, you got to be kidding me. But I made it work. Don't have a long form video because of that. But hey.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is what it is.
Let me ask y'all this. If you could do it, would you have a camera person?
Heartbeat. Was that fast enough for you?
I don't know.
Absolutely, man.
It just depends for me because I like to do stuff when I like to do stuff. And so I have this thing like sometimes being dependent on other people, even though sometimes I have to call my wife and be like, hey, could you tell me how this looks over here?
Right.
And the thing about it is she's the one who was like, make sure you charge that lapel mic up a little more. I was like, oh, I think this is good because it was completely dead before.
Famous last words.
Yeah. And I'm like,
it'll be fine.
Yeah, right.
And it was
hey,
fine.
what happened to my audio?
It was fine for what, but when it got to that tri-tip part, it was just no sound. I think it was like the beginning of me saying, "What's up, everybody? This is T from," and I mean, I'm just.
Hey, we ain't laughing at you, bro. We laughing with you because we been
That's
there.
for sure. Oh yes.
So for now on, I charge up that lapel mic, but I don't know. I mean, I guess if the timing was right, because like I said, sometimes I just like to just off the whim do stuff. But if I had that camera person that was like, ready to go when I'm ready to go, then yeah, cool.
You know what? I'm gonna say this, Brandon. I know one thing that I learned going to Vid Summit was that do your specialty. My specialty is not editing. It's not filming. It's not creating thumbnails. My specialty is cooking.
Yeah.
And if I could have a team that I had somebody that was taking care of filming and somebody that was doing the editing and somebody was doing thumbnails, then it'd be gravy. But we're just not set up that way yet.
Yeah. Yet is the key word. But
yeah.
I know a guy who's a videographer, and he's transitioned to doing that full time. And my wife has been urging me to have the guy come, especially like at an event or something like that. She was like, and I was trying to explain to her, I'm like, I think you forget that like this is going to be a costly undertaking, especially at an event, because now I have to pay transportation costs, lodging, food, per diem. I might have a brother come over to the house one day, just saying. But
yeah, man,
trying to go to an event, man, like that's a nice little ticket to swallow, man. But I tell you what, I'm going to try something because, again, you were talking about Vid Summit. We learned so much at that event about content creation, specifically when it comes to posting on YouTube. The game has changed a lot since we all first started. And I would say the biggest takeaway, and for all those who are watching, if you're a, burgeoning content creator, one of the things you need to understand is you don't have a YouTube channel anymore. You have a TV show now. YouTube is bigger on TV than Netflix is. And a lot of people don't realize that, but that's the fact. I think the way I've been approaching things since we've come back has been a sea change. I don't know how you feel about it, Al, but I am doing things in a completely different way now when it comes to creating content. The thinking is different, the planning is different, and the execution is definitely different.
Absolutely.
And for folks who are serious, I definitely recommend, if you're serious, get serious. Because there's a lot to this. And if you're just, treating it like a hobby, you're just not going to get very far anymore. There was a time where folks could just kind of, plink away at it and have moderate success. Well, they're changing their model and the way they do things and just kind of throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what sticks. That's just not going to work anymore.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, very intentional about the way I do things now. And that makes it even more frustrating when things go wrong. And it's just much more challenging to create content that way. But, we have to change as times change, and we do what we got to do, man.
I think you hit that on the head there, brother. But hey, man, we've been going for quite a while. Hey, time flies when you're having fun, having great conversation and everything. It just is what it is. But before we toss it over to Charlie to get ready to wrap us up, I just want to say, hey, guys, we need to make sure that we are sending our thoughts and prayers out there to everyone affected by this hurricane.
Yes.
That was a disaster that hit our country, and it's devastated a lot of people's lives. So let's keep all of those people in our thoughts and prayers. And if you have the financial means to donate or time to be able to donate, please do so. But that was a bad situation.
Yeah, that was terrible. And shout out, man. We got a lot of our barbecue bros out there in the Carolinas, man, who did some really good stuff, providing meals and barbecue to folks, man, free of charge, and helped out a lot of folks. So I want to give a shout out to our barbecue bros out there. We appreciate y'all doing what y'all did.
Yes, we do.
So y'all, I think we're going to wrap it up. Charlie, what say you?
Yeah, man. Let's go around the table and let everybody tell them where to find them on the socials. All right, let's start with Alton. Where can they find you on the socials, man?
Yes, sir. The Dogfathers Barbecue. That's TheDawgFathasBBQ. You can find me on all the socials except for X. You can also find me on the Pit Boss Grills YouTube channel under the Backyard Bosses playlist. So come check me out there, and come holler at me.
Right. And T, where can they find you on the socials, brother?
TW.BBQ on all platforms. It's TW-BBQ on YouTube. Also, the Brown Sugar Cafe podcast is back for season 4. New episodes dropping. Haven't decided yet if I'm going to do bi-weekly or weekly, but I got some great guests lined up. Recorded an episode with Lamar Jones. Had him on the show, and he's talking about he's talking about some things he didn't get to talk to about on this show. So be on the lookout for that episode coming out probably in the coming weeks. And that's it.
Awesome. And before I turn it over to Brandon to take us out, you can find me everywhere where you see the name Charlie Maverick, except on X. I stopped. I'm in rehab. I'm doing better. I feel good. Stay off X too. It's
a terrible place.
It is. It's a terrible place.
I still like it. I still like it.
Brandon, where can they find you on the socials? Here comes the main people. Here comes the main.
Hey, Elon, go come looking for you, Charlie.
Ain't nobody worried about Elon, old punk ass. We ain't worried about Elon. But as Charlie said, y'all can find me everywhere. Me and this luxurious mane. Y'all see that thing glisten. Look at it. Y'all take your time. Take your time. I got this thing done too. I know y'all seen it. Listen, y'all can find me and the luxurious mane everywhere except for that Twitter Bird X joint. We don't do that, but everywhere else, look for BKC Cooks and we will be there. And y'all, again, this is the Black Smoke Barbecue Podcast. We appreciate y'all subscribing, following, watching. All that stuff really helps us out. And until the next time, y'all, we out.
Peace.